everyone, it's Amanda. Welcome back to my channel. And Halloween is coming up, and although I do love Halloween, the one thing that I don't love is that the decorations can get a little tacky sometimes. So for today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys a couple of DIY Halloween room decorations that'll still give you the Halloween feel, but are minimal and beautiful for your room. Also, these are all super easy to make and everything can be found at the dollar store, so I'm super excited, and if you want to see more DIYs, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. So the first DIY I'm going to show you guys is this string pumpkin, and this one is definitely my favorite one because I think it just turned out so well. You can also customize it depending on what you want. You can change the colors as well as the shape that you use, so this is just an all-around foolproof DIY. Obviously, you're going to need a pumpkin. I opted for a smaller one and I already carved out the insides and emptied it out just to save time. But I'm going to start off by painting my pumpkin with this gunmetal color. So I mixed a silver paint with a black color to get this Now I'm drawing out the shape that I want to cut out, and you'll soon see that I realize that I have to cut this out. So I opted for a simpler shape like the moon instead of the bat because I'm not that skilled with the carving. As you can see here, I'm carving out the pumpkin, and guys, please be careful when you're doing this. I don't want to hear from anybody saying that they cut their finger while doing my DIY, so just be careful. But I'm just like cleaning up the edges, making sure that it's perfect. This is why I realized I should have painted the pumpkin after I cut the shape out because I had to clean up anyways, so I would recommend carving the pumpkin and then painting it. Okay, so this next step I wanted to keep in just to show you guys my trial and error. I made all of these mistakes so that you guys don't have to. I tried using nails, but they looked a little too distracting, so instead I opted for sewing pins. So I definitely recommend those. Also, they were much easier to get into the pumpkin. So once you have placed all of your sewing pins around the outline of your cutout shape, you can tie some embroidery thread to one of the pins and start looping the thread around the sewing pins. I would recommend doing the outline first just so that you have the base shape, and then filling in the geometric random shapes. So as you can see here, I'm just looping them around randomly, filling it in with these little triangles, and then obviously tying a knot when I'm done. And then I also pushed in the pins at the end just to keep the string more secure. And that's pretty much it for this DIY. All you have to do is pop in a little candle and you're good to go. But guys, look at how cute this turned out. Like, it's just so beautiful and it matches the black and white aesthetic of my room. But as I said earlier, you can definitely change out the paint color, the string color, or even the shape that you cut out. So it is a very versatile DIY, and I just think it turned out so well. The next DIY I'm going to show you guys how to make is this marble skull, and I haven't seen this anywhere. I kind of just thought of it because I love marble and skulls are very Halloweeny, so I mashed the two together and this was born. Also, I think this could be used anytime, not just on Halloween. So this is what it started as. It's one of those tacky Halloween decorations from the dollar store. Ooh, look at that fire dab though. I hate myself for doing that already, but let's move on to the DIY. So you're just going to need a skull form, so I chose this one because it was the perfect size. I'm taking off that weird cloak thing as well as removing it from the body, so all you're left with is this skull head. And for this DIY, you're going to need black and white paint as well as multiple sizes of sponges and paintbrushes. So first we're going to start by covering the entire skull with white paint. This might take a couple of coats, but as long as you get it completely white, you're all good. Next, you're going to cut off a piece of a sponge and make sure that it's pretty small. I also mixed a light gray, like super light gray, with the black and white paint, and I'm sponging this light gray all over the skull, but I'm leaving some white spaces in between, so you're kind of just making like little gray clouds all over the skull, and this is going to be the start of the marble pattern. Next, I cut a smaller piece of sponge and mixed a slightly darker shade of gray, and I'm sponging this within the light gray in smaller sections. Hopefully this makes sense. Now I'm taking a super thin brush with an even darker shade of gray, And I'm making these little thin marble lines. You can just kind of do them loosely. And what I'm doing is I'm sponging it out using that sponge that I used before. And this is just going to fade it out and give it that marble look. So just make sure you have your paintbrush in one hand and the sponge in the other. You can also sponge it over with a tiny bit of white to fade it out if it gets a little too intense. So just keep going back and forth, painting, sponging, and you're good to go. The good thing about this is that you can't really mess up because marble is a natural stone, so as long as you have like a reference picture, it'll turn out well. Now I'm taking the straight black, there's nothing mixed in, and I'm dotting these like super thin lines of black within the center of the marble lines. And then this time I'm taking a dry sponge instead of a sponge with paint, and I'm rubbing this out again to fade it. I also ended up using my fingers, so use what you have. Now to finish it off and give it that shiny marble feel, I bought the cheapest nail polish top coat I could find, and I'm pouring this out onto my palette, and I'm using a synthetic brush to coat the entire skull with this top coat. Make sure it's even, and it's probably easier if you place it down somewhere because my hands got a little sticky. And then my marble skull is complete, but guys, look at this. I mean, I think it looks pretty realistic in my opinion, but maybe that's just me. Let me know what you guys think. I definitely have not seen this anywhere before, and I will actually be keeping this in my room past Halloween. Okay, so the last DIY is this spiderweb vase. This is kind of just like a little hack. It's like the easiest DIY in the world. But you're going to need a vase or a mason jar, basically something made out of glass, and you're literally just going to be using hot glue to draw your spiderweb lines. This is going to take a lot of practice because at first my lines were very wavery, but as you get the hang of it and go a little faster, the hot glue gun lines get a little smoother. So I'm doing this like X pattern, and then I'm filling it in with the cobwebs. Just a little tip for getting the smoothest lines. It works best if your surface is perpendicular to the floor, so you're gonna have to rotate the vase as you're gluing it, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. The best part about this is that if you mess up, you can literally just peel it off and redo it, so there's no pressure whatsoever. And yeah, that's it. Easiest DIY ever. It's literally just one step, but turns out very subtle and minimal, but still gives you that Halloween feel. But guys, that's it for this DIY Halloween minimal room decorations. If you guys enjoyed, please hit that subscribe button so that you're notified whenever I do post a new video. Join the fam, it's a lot of fun here, so stick around. I think that's it, so I hope you guys have an awesome Halloween, stay safe, have fun, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye guys!